A bonus business consideration to look into are your competitors. This video will help you understand where in the startup pyramid you should get a view of your competition. Having competition is not a bad thing in itself. Even the White House feels like it's worth writing about. And the benefits are not just for the economy at large, it can also be for you as a small business owner. A positive way to look at this is that your competitors are also working really hard at showcasing everything that your industry has to offer and at attracting clients to it. So that means that competition actually helps create demand for what you do. And think of how many times you might have bought something, not because the seller that you bought from advertised, but actually because their competitors did. However, you also need to pick an area where you know that you're going to have a chance amongst all your competitors. So for instance, if there are many small players, no real leaders, you might have an interesting chance at becoming a leader in that space. Alternatively, if there is a clear leader in that market and you want to keep them on, keep in mind that the larger that leader, that competitor is, the harder it will be for you to carve a space for yourself. So if you're in the retail space and you've decided to take on Walmart, it might be a long and hard journey ahead of you just because Walmart might have a lot more resources and a lot more reputation than you do. To help you understand your competition, I want to point out where in the startup pyramid you'll start to get a hint of who else is in your playing field. So at the very bottom of the solution section, once you have an understanding of what's your basic solution, you will have settled on a certain way of solving a problem. If we go back to the example of the puppy owners with destructive puppies, for them, the basic solution looked like either training the puppies, restraining the puppies, or training the dog owner. Let's say you settle on training the dog owner. That means that as soon as you settle on this basic solution, you can start to look around to see who else is doing this and how they are doing it. This will start to help you get a clear sense of what your possible solution formats might be, but also you should start digging further. Why is it that people still have that pain point and have not looked at your competitors as an option? Is it because it was the wrong format? Is it because it was the wrong price, so maybe too expensive? Or is it because their desire to solve it was actually not strong enough that they dug around and found these solutions? That should give you some great hints as to what your solution should or should not include. And even more, actually, it will tell you whether the bottom of your pyramid is actually as strong as you thought it was. Now, looking back at the steps on the pyramid, that first step was to understand who your indirect competitors were. But another point where you will get a very clear sense of your competitors is once you have defined all the different elements in the solution section. And so once you have defined what your pricing is, you should get a very good sense of who your direct competitors are. So that means who are the people that are doing something very, very similar to you, the same format, the same core feature, the same price. And you might think that, oh no, no one else is doing this, but just by the way, we are living in a world where competition is more and more of a reality. Let's say, when was the last time you looked for something on Amazon and you thought that this was a relatively simple thing and you had pages and pages of people offering something very similar price point, very similar features? It's really important when you understand your direct competitors that you understand. So mainly what we want you to get here is to understand why is it that these people are offering this at this price point, and why is that still not working for your people, the people that you are going after. And you need to make sure that you are able to differentiate yourself from your direct competitors. So why would a client pick you over your competitors? That differentiator will become an assumption, so you need to go and validate this. But it might be an assumption that is important enough that you will want to bake this into the core feature of your product. Overall, obviously that competitive landscape will vary based on the type of business that you are building, but I would say these are two core points in the pyramid where it is understood to have a look around and get a sense of who else is in that same playing field, who your competitors are.